Hey everybody, it's MommaOG. I'm back with another reaction. Today I'm doing another Porcupine Tree reaction. The next song on my list is Lazarus. I've chosen to do the official video, but I do have a live version of it pulled up in another tab, so I will likely do another double feature. I don't know, this might become something I do with this band, is listen to the studio version and the live version in one video. We'll see. Before we get started, if you'd like to request a reaction, you can do so by clicking a donation link in the description below, sending me the information of the song that you would like me to react to, and I will add it to my list and get it recorded as soon as possible. Also, during my reactions, I take notes, so if you see me looking down, I'm just writing down a couple of words so that I don't forget what I want to talk about. I've got my earbuds in. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Past the chillest towns, past my window, I can see a washed out moon through the fog. And then a voice inside my head breaks the analog and says, follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. I survived against the will of my twisted folk, but in the deafness of my world, silence broke.
It's an incredible line.
Follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. Follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. My David, don't you worry, this cold world is not for you. So rest your head upon me, I have strength to carry you. Those are the 20s rising, golden summers just waiting. Follow me down to the valley below. Follow me down. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. Follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. Come to us, Lazarus. It's
Let me just see if these lyrics are in the description. No. Okay, I'm going to look up the lyrics before I listen to the live version. As the cheerless towns pass my window, I can see a washed out moon through the fog. And then a voice inside my head breaks the analog and says, "Follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding out from out of your soul." I survived against the will of my twisted folk, but in the deafness of my world the silence broke. That's an incredible line there. And said, "Follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding out of your soul. Follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. My David, don't you worry. This cold world is not for you." That line right there reminds me of an Aurora song called "A Different Kind of Human." So rest your head upon me. I have strength to carry you. Ghosts of the 20s rising, golden summers just holding you. Okay, so it's just the chorus again. Come to us, Lazarus. It's time for you to go. There and about, yeah. Okay, before I read the about part, first of all, this song was a little bit different than the ones that I've previously reacted to. The feelings it gave me, a word popping into my head was like accessible. I don't know why. That word is just in the forefront of my mind. It was melodic, but it had these sad undertones, like "Follow me down to the valley below." I mean, that metaphorically could mean, a voice in your head just like, okay, you know that there's this sadness that you're going to go back down into. I don't know if that's what it's about, but this has an underlying sadness, but it's melodically pleasing, which is kind of an oxymoron, maybe? I don't know. Trying to think of a way to describe this. It was like he was kind of full of restraint, but the sadness conveyed in this song was not exactly really heavy. And I just wonder if that's because of the melodic music that was, kind of fighting against that sad feeling that I was getting in the pit of my stomach. I don't know, it's strange. I wonder too in that video if those home movies were actually his. Maybe some of you know that and can fill me in. I'm going to go ahead and read this about. It didn't look too long. I'm going to click on this Lazarus name too. So annotation will maybe explain this. Lazarus is a biblical figure who is resurrected by Jesus after being dead for 4 days. Speaker of this song is comparable in that he escaped an abusive family dynamic. Okay. Of some kind, it remains ambiguous. The escape is a personal resurrection. His family is calling for him to return to death, back to the valley below. This may be a direct call for suicide or simply a call for him to return to their destructive influences. Okay, let's see what this about says. It's very short. This song is about a mother talking to her son from beyond the grave, following the concept album. Okay. So I always have to take all of these things with a grain of salt. Okay, this set it up here. I didn't even see that. That could make sense. Both of these explanations could make sense if a family dynamic was not so good and you survived it. You know, and some of the members of that family have passed on. You know, he's talking about a voice inside his head, you know, telling him to follow me down to the valley below. Moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. What does it say about that? The voice of his dead parent implies that he's destined for death, as his life energy, here described as light, is bleeding away from his soul. She appeals to his sense of fatality, that he knows he's slowly dying. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and listen to the live version. This is from Arriving Somewhere Live in Chicago. When I do these double features, this particular show is the ones that I find the most for whatever song that I'm listening to the studio version for. Okay, let's go ahead and take a listen to the live version.
As the chiller sounds past my window, I can see a washed out moon through the fog. And then a voice inside my head breaks the analog and says, follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul.
So that makes sense, how a voice from a dead relative, whether it be his mother or whoever, is kind of reminding him, you know, the light in you is dying. It's bleeding out. Just follow me down. I don't know what I read about if it's a call for suicide. I don't instinctually feel that is the intention. I maybe more of an acknowledgement. But if that family dynamic was, you know, he says something in the lyrics about surviving against the will of my twisted folk. So, yeah, it could have been like a bad family dynamic, and some of those members have passed on and they're still kind of in his head. Yeah, that's definitely underlying sadness that I was talking about before. Okay, let me back it up just a smidge and let's keep going.
You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. I survived against the will of my twisted folk. But in the deafness of my world,
Okay.
Follow me down to the valley below. Follow me down. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul.
Drum part right there.
Follow me down to the valley below. You know, moonlight is bleeding from out of your soul. Come to us, Lazarus.
And to us. Okay. Okay, so I might have had a change of heart about the suicide thing, but I'll talk about that in a second. They're amazing live. Like, his voice sounds exactly the same. I find it amazing when that happens because, you don't, I know it's common. People are just as good live as they are in the studio, but it doesn't always work out that way. I don't know. It just kind of is a mark of a really talented band and singer. And I love it when that happens. There's just some weird physical thing that I've noticed throughout these videos, that he does this a lot with 2 fingers. And I think I figured out a couple of videos ago that I like the first 2 videos I saw, I was wondering, like, what's all this 2-finger motioning about? But I think he has his pick in between his fingers a lot. And he does it so much. I think I saw in that video that he did it a little bit when he was grabbing the microphone, but he didn't have a pick in between his fingers. I don't know though for sure, but a very weird thing to notice. But that's just something that's been a common thing that I've noticed in the videos physically. Now, I said earlier that these lyrics may be more of an asking of an acknowledgement of, the light is bleeding. You're eventually going to die. So just follow me to the valley below, and not so much suicide. But in thinking about it during the last part of the song, again, if this family dynamic was so twisted and toxic, and also the fact that at the end it says, "Come to us, Lazarus," and then, time for you to go. That's actually sounds pretty direct. Like, it's time now. It could be related to suicide. And then the bridge in there where it mentions the name David. My David, don't you worry. This cold world is not for you. So rest your head upon me. I have the strength to carry you. That could also be a direct call for it. But it's, again, the music was kind of it kind of suppressed this sad, dark message that the lyrics conveyed because it was so melodic and pleasant to listen to. I don't know. I'm finding this band is just not something you can just put on and play and not pay attention to. You can once you know the music, but I'm just finding it more intriguing more and more I listen to. there's these complications and these, I don't know how to describe it, intricacies in the way these lyrics are written and the music is done, and how the songs overall are composed that just really appeals to me and makes me want to hear more. It's really crazy. I'm kind of falling in love with this band, for sure. Thank you all so much for being here to share this with me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you next time.